Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the third day of Lady Arcader's Super Showcase 2022. I am your host, Happy Bear, and I am super duper excited to be with you on this beautiful morning. We have had a wonderful marathon so far, full of thrills, chills, and I can't think of anything else that rhymes with thrills or chills. So we're just gonna go with it. For those of you who are just tuning in, you are watching this magical showcase, which is an all women's charity talent showcase event, which ran from September 23rd and is running through today. And we are benefiting Rethink Breast Cancer. Now, if you've never heard of Rethink Breast Cancer before, their mission is to empower young people worldwide who are concerned about and affected by breast cancer by taking a breakthrough approach to education, advocacy, support, community building, and fundraising initiatives. From supporting research that helps women get pregnant after a diagnosis, to advocating for better health outcomes, to creating much needed programs and resources that don't exist anywhere else, to being the go-to hub for hard conversations, like how to deal with menopause when you're in your 30s, Rethink is changing the breast cancer conversation. And folks, we are so excited and proud to be raising money for this wonderful organization. We have blown past our original goal of $500, and our current goal for day 3 is $2,500. We are currently at $2,183.03. So I know that we can get there, chat, with just a little extra help today. I am so proud of all of you. Now, we've got a pretty packed schedule for you today. We're starting off with an art showcase by SchalaKitty and proceeding to a Rags to Riches speedrun by Tana Banana for The Sims. And then after that, we have got an exciting Hitman 2 trophy hunting showcase from Mortal Paralight. And then, to close out the event, we have the Femme Fatality Wrestling PPV in WWE 2K19 by Honey Bunny Kagome. But not only are we going to see the PPV, we are going to see a 30 wrestler Royal Rumble match, and I am told that this has the potential to completely crash the game. So it is going to be extremely interesting and exciting. Definitely must-see TV. So, we have a packed schedule today. I am so excited for it. But before we can get there, we have to go to our amazing art showcase by SchalaKitty, and we are ready for it. So, SchalaKitty, I can't wait for this, and Jack can't wait for this. We are so excited to see what you have ready for us. So, Schala, over to you.
Say some wonderful things for our audio techs so that way we can make sure
Okay.
that audio's doing a thing. Yes. Can you all hear me, chat? We have audio. Fantastic. I probably surprised everyone because I was just going to drop music on you. So we have to start off an art stream with the most artistic of music. Yes, it's the Mario Paint soundtrack. So let's do our very first little thing. This is a little mini introduction to Inkscape, and then we're going to get into the emote that you also generously donated for. So, Inkscape, like I said, free vector software program, allows you to make beautiful vector art. Does take a little bit of getting used to, but with a little bit of practice, you can make yourself actually, let me do that with a... There we go. So, we'll kind of do something very simple to start.
Oh, I love Nier Automata.
It's not Nier Automata! Also, I'm joined by the absolutely fantastic leggystarscream.
Hi, I'm here.
Leggy is here. Leggy is here to chill with me. Happy Bear will also be chilling with me. And...
Yeah.
I am ready to chill.
I'm mostly here to make bad jokes.
That's perfect. You're gonna be just like a perfect part of this marathon, Leggy. You've already embraced the spirit.
We've already inflicted a lot of punishment on chat, so I'm looking forward to that continuing this morning.
Yes. Alright, almost done with our little example. We just did basic shapes. That's all we did. And with the use of some fun little basic shapes, I'm gonna do a cut real quick. There's better ways to cut. I'm being lazy with my cutting. Difference. Boop. Oh yeah, the most basic cube in existence. But anyway, I like how many people thought, like, it's Yoko Taro, it's Yoko Taro. It's not Yoko Taro! It's Cube. But that's fine. This is my reminder to please play Live Alive. Anyway, I guess we should probably get into what the good people paid for, shouldn't we? Also, I should have told Pippi, you can just start running the timer, and you just tell me when I need to stop. That's how we'll do it. So yeah, and also here, I'll change off of the Mario Paint music. We need something, I feel we need something appropriate. So yeah, let us get to the art that you all so graciously donated for, what we'll be working on. It is Best Girl Dusa from Hades. So this is how I actually set up for emotes. I have myself a nice little, this is my canvas setup, and then I'll go over here to the layers panel, show you how layers kind of work in Inkscape. So I have my sketch layer, which is right here. Boop, boop. I have this reference layer, which is full of beautiful colors. And then we're going to have a color layer, a line layer, and then for the curtain that is in front of Dusa, it will have its own layers. But we're not worried about those layers right now. Right now, we're just worried about Dusa's line layer.
The line-align layer?
The line-align layer, yes, absolutely. So...
I got you.
You got me. So let's go ahead and start drawing. So, it would help if I was actually in draw mode.
Scarlett, do you
Yes.
mind if I read a donation
Oh,
to kick
please.
us off right?
Please kick us off right.
All right, so we have a $16.97 donation from Emma Coconut, who says, "Oi, everyone, 22 hundies, yeah!"
Yeah!
And that gets us to $2,200 flat. So
Nice!
pretty darn cool. Thank you everyone for the support. We are gonna hit $2,500 today.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you all something that I like to do for events is I like to if I'm not in the middle of having to do stuff that requires thought. Art does require thought though, but if you want to donate for every time you donate, I will give you facts. If you would like to donate specifically for FF7 facts, if you don't know, I am someone who knows much of the lore of FF7. And usually when I do events like this, I'm like, hey, if you want to donate $7, I will give you Final Fantasy VII facts. But for right now, let's see, I'm trying to think of a good one for $16. Ooh. And I know FF16 is coming out. It's going to be by some of the same people behind Final Fantasy XIV. Leggy, are you excited for FF16, or are you still kind of waiting and seeing?
I'm cautiously optimistic, I'll say.
That is fair and valid.
The game looks really cool. I'm always a bit hit or miss on the sort of actiony combat systems. Like those can be very finicky in my book. For instance, love Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't really do it for me.
I think for Kingdom Hearts 3, it very much depended on the weapon I was using. I really liked the monster yo-yo, and that's what I ended up using for most of the game.
That is fair.
So talking... Oh, go ahead. You finish.
Yeah, there's a really interesting tightrope to walk with getting that sort of combat to really feel good for me.
Yeah, that's totally fair. All right, so we'll sort of talk a little bit about what we're doing. So right now we're doing our line work. Inkscape has a whole variety of what are called path effects that you can use. And the one we are using is... There we go. Is called Taper Stroke. What Taper Stroke does, it lets us sort of recreate the ability to kind of have a nice taper to our lines that sort of better reflects as if this was like sort of drawn by hand with pressure settings. So what I do is I sort of sketch out like the basic line, and then I usually like to add in Taper Stroke, which as you can see is one of my favorite settings. There we go. Also, I'm the one running the music. If music is loud, if it needs to be turned down, chat, you tell me. If music needs to be turned up, you also tell me. But yeah, Taper Stroke is sort of like, that I consider to be one of like Inkscape's really fun sort of settings. Unlike Adobe Illustrator, Inkscape really doesn't do a lot of, what's the term, like, sort of like brush effects along lines, but it does have some really fun path effects that we can do. Oh, what am I using as my pointing device? I have a EX Pen monitor tablet. I have the 13.5 size, and that's what I use for drawing. So basically, when I do lines, I tend to work with my tablet's pen. And then when I do colors, I actually tend to do them by mouse. For years, I did vectors entirely with a mouse. I just didn't have a cool, fancy tablet, but I did have a mouse, and I had vectors. And vectors, they don't really care if you have a fancy tablet or not. So for folks who kind of like don't know the difference, there's basically sort of two main ways you create digital art. It's either vector, which is what we're doing right now, or raster. So raster's kind of the most common one, where you have all your little individual pixels, and you're going in, and you can adjust them down on the by pixel level. Vector, however, is basically, it's all math. So it's all points and lines and shapes. And because of that, vector is infinitely scalable. So you can scale up and down as far as you'd like. That's part of why I like doing art in it. I like the fact that I can make stuff and it will just scale up to whatever size I would like it to be. And so actually for this year, I did my first really big scale project where I actually did a 6-foot banner. That was fun. But because it's all vector, I could just do it, on my computer and then just have it scale up to be like the 6 feet.
Nice.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely. When you start talking about like drawing tablets or anything, I really like EXP pen. Yes. There's a few other sort of more affordable level drawing tablets out there. I know a lot of people like Huon, but this is the one that I have, and I'm a particular fan of it. Yes, this is not a speedrun because I could do basic math. I mean, the computer does most of the math for me. One of the actually the nice things about Inkscape is that it does you'll sort of do a little fun thing. So I'm going to make a square over here. So we can go in and we can adjust the exact size of the square. So I'll make it 100 by 100 for easy math. And say, I was like, you know what? I want this to be about 2.7 times bigger. You could just put in multiply by 2 times 7. Haha, look. And now it's 270 pixels. So you actually can go in and have it do math for you, which is one of my favorite little fun things. It's like, I need this to be like 50% bigger, and I could just tell Inkscape, and Inkscape will be like, yep, sure thing, boss, I can do that math for you. So one of the other fun things here with the taper strokes is we also can go in and adjust the width afterwards. So if I want that to be a slightly thinner line there for this is sort of my own take on Dusa. I gave her a little bit of a snoot. Because snoots are cute.
Gotta boop them.
Gotta boop them. Dusa has a very boopable snoot.
Are you going to boop the snoot today?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried that we were going to get out of this marathon without a single snoot booped.
Boop, 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 boop.
That would just be a tragedy.
I boop the snoot.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
All is right with the world. Balance has been restored.
Yes. Alright. So... we're just making our way through this. I'll talk a little bit about design for this. I kind of was really inspired. If you have not seen the official Dusa plushie, it is super adorable. They did a very good job on it. It was actually by, and I'm calling this out because I know we have the wonderful Metroid Crime running this show. It was by a wonderful designer who their online name is Metroid Hat. And yes, I'm using Inkscape. It says up in the very, very, very corner there. You can find out more about the program at inkscape.org. Again, it is a completely free vector software program. It is wonderful if you would like to get into learning how to do vector art. My only sort of note, though, is that its workflow is completely different as compared to Adobe Illustrator. So trying to go from Inkscape to Illustrator is definitely a bit of a challenge. I do have Adobe Illustrator, but I just like Inkscape so much more. Yeah, and it will natively make all your files in SVG, which is sort of the standard scalable vector graphics. There we go. And basically what we're going to do with this art showcase is we're going to get as far as we can in our 90-minute allotment. Sometimes, depending on the design, I can get it all done. Sometimes it will just be, we got through like all the line work, and that's fine. I just used the duplication feature there. Duplication is your friend. No need. Alright. There we go. And we're just going to resize that. I tended to keep all like the line adjustments to the end. But I always like to do all my lines first. As you can kind of tell, the original sketch was done on paper, and then I like to go from paper sketch to then doing digital ink and color is my sort of normal workflow. Fun fact, the majority of the sketch was done yesterday during during my restreaming shift. But I was very pleasantly surprised by how well it turned out. So, hey, we got really nicely done on that line there. I am very happy with that. And what I'm doing, so there's basically sort of two main ways to make lines in Inkscape. You can either do freehand, or you could do it's Bezier, right? Bezier. I don't know the exact way to pronounce it.
I think it's Bezier.
Bezier? Sure. Or you could do Bezier curves, where you sort of plot it out yourself. So usually with more organic shapes, I'm going to do the lines freehand. And then Inkscape has like built-in like smoothing. Alright, to chat, being like, I wish I could draw. Here you go. This is my 100%. Like, I am completely serious about this. Please, please, please look into what is called Zentangle or Zendoodling. It is a drawing method that is designed for everyone. If you can follow just making very basic lines and patterns, you can do Zentangle. It's a beautiful abstract art method. I highly, highly recommend it. Also for folks who just like to do art in general, it's really good if you want to develop your inking skills, because Zentangle is designed to be done in pen. Alright, sort of looking at where I'm at right now. Okay. Got our little feather duster. I did mine a little differently than how the wonderful Gen Z draws it. But that's okay, because this is my take on Dusa. And again, I sort of looked at I liked the plushes way of sort of handling some of Dusa's design, so that was sort of my inspiration. What I'm going to do to kind of even out this little... There we go.
Schala, after
Yes.
that inspiring Zentangle message,
Yes.
I would like to read another message of inspiration about the Lady Arcaders.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Go for it, please.
Wonderful. Well, I just want to remind everyone who's watching that Lady Arcaders is an all-women's gaming collective. Lady Arcaders welcomes all women in gaming, speedrunners, developers, and casual fans. In addition to our cozy private community, we run weekly showcases on our Twitch channel, as well as larger charity events throughout the year. Now, if you want to volunteer, type _volunteer in chat for a link to the volunteer application. We are definitely always looking for new people to help out with hosting, being a commentary buddy, being a social media person, or a technician. We would love to have you on board. So if that is something that interests you, then please definitely submit that volunteer application. We would be ecstatic to have you.
Yes, come volunteer. Help out cool people do cool things.
You know, Chad is commenting that after this last week of Twitter discourse, they're looking for amoguses in the eyes.
Do you know that meme, or should I explain that meme for people who do not know that meme?
I know that meme, but
Yes.
there may be some people who don't.
Let me see how fast I can sort of. Let me actually swap. Yeah, I'm going to do this with. So basically, the joke is. Let me sort of swap around. Oh, let me be not on a existing shape. Thank you. So the joke kind of is, if you want to draw a anime eye crying, sort of start with your basic eye. I'm sort of just doing like the most basic of like eyelids here. And then you're going to sort of do a thinner line on this. And then you do Among Us with big shoes. Alright, and then let me just... And then it's crying.
That is witchcraft.
Anyway. There you go. Jason is asking about Final Fantasy IV free enterprise, of which I am the art developer and one of the admins for. Asking, has Zeromus ever been Among Us? The answer is yes.
Yeah, Zeromus is sus.
Zeromus is very sus. Alright.
I just want to shout out, by the way, the free enterprise randomizer at Flame Fatales last month.
Yeah! We had a lot of fun with that one.
That was one of the, honestly, probably the coolest moment I've had at a Fatales event.
Oh.
It was just one of those like community building moments where you really felt like you were part of something special.
Aww.
And so I really felt blessed to be a part of that, for sure, Schala.
Let me see if I can...
Yeah, I was there for that.
You were there for that. Give me 1 second. For folks who don't know, we debuted a very special, we'll give a very quick shout out to, Frame Fatales. So we did a very special shout out for Faith, their mascot. And since we're talking about Inkscape, sort of show this off very quickly. Ta-da! Faith was done in Vector originally, and then reworked into pixel art. So if you're curious about what the vectors look like, there you go.
That is super, super cool. Thank you for showing us that.
Yeah.
Now I want a Lady Arcader to learn the Free Enterprise Randomizer so that we can get a gigantic Metroidomus wearing a big top hat.
Yes, I would be so happy to do that. Please come ff4fe.com. There you go. I will do my little shout out there if you would like to know more about Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. We are a extremely welcoming and very inclusive randomizer community. If you love Final Fantasy IV and would like to experience it over and over and over again and have it be new every time, that's what we're all about. Okay, we have
Of course. Sorry.
Give me 1 second. I have to save and then go back a few steps. We were joking during setup about glitches. Haha, that was a glitch we just ran into. So, did I actually... Are we okay? Aha.
So it's gonna save us 15 minutes of time down the run. Somehow, I don't know how.
Now, what happened was that my my taper got a little messed up, but we're fine now. We're fine. We did not actually run into... We ran into a glitch, but we just, we used Control-Z and we're all fine. Again, as I said, Inkscape is completely free, and that means that, it's an open source thing. Occasionally you'll run into little glitches like this, but that's totally fine. Also, I know the music has definitely kicked up, so chat, let me know if I need to rebalance. And I will do that, or I guess I can just rebalance it on my end anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to scoot this down just a few. Volume is okay? Great. I brought it down a notch or two just to be on the safe side. This is my sort of my drawing playlist. But again, because we have Dusa on here, I threw on tracks off the Hades soundtrack. Hades soundtrack, absolutely phenomenal soundtrack. Hades, absolutely great game. If you enjoyed the 3-weapon run last night, and you think it might be fun to play, I highly, highly recommend it. I am someone who is not good at action games, and I am not good at roguelikes, but Hades has its wonderful God mode to help out folks like me, who aren't super good at those types of games, but still want to have the experience. And it's a lot of fun. I'm doing my best not to spoil stuff about Hades, because I know our wonderful tech, Pippi, would like to play it herself. All I will say is one of my fave parts of Hades is you can you might be able to get in between fighting through the hordes of the underworld. You might be able to get into some smooches.
Smooches?
Smooches!
Now, I need to play Hades. I had no interest in playing it before, but now I to want smooches. No, I'm just kidding. I actually have never played Hades either, and so I avoided the showcase last night as well. But I, actually, I do have a question. Have you played Transistor or Pyre as well? Because I'm thinking maybe I need to like play those first to kind of like have an orderly progression of super giant games. But you know, that's just kind of like my weird brain talking.
I own Transistor, but I have not gotten around to playing it. But you could just jump right in on Hades and be totally happy. You could definitely, if you appreciate like watching the evolution in game design, then yes, but they're not like interconnected. But you should definitely play them.
Yeah, for sure.
Also,
I guess my follow-up question would be, have you played Bastion?
I have not, but I saw my roommate play Bastion like 10 years ago in college, so I consider that I have checked Bastion off the list, and I need to play the other 3 Supergiant games now.
Yeah. What I'll say is Transistor is the closest one to Bastion. Pyre is a sports game.
I'm
And
here
then, of
for
course,
it.
Hades is a roguelike.
yeah, they're all a little different. But yes, anyway, play Hades, have some smooches, be bisexual, which is, you know, just the best thing. I appreciate any game where I'm allowed to play as a disaster bi, that I truly feel seen.
You know,
It's just good
honestly,
representation.
same.
It is. Zagreus is legitimately, absolutely top tier bisexual representation in games, and I am not at all like being facetious about that.
We love the LGBTQ representation in any kind of game, but especially games where you are a handsome devil.
Yes, absolutely.
What about Final Fantasy Legend 2?
Leggy and I both play Final Fantasy Legend 2, and one of the extremely minor side characters in that game is a literal handsome devil. Which, to me, the funniest thing is when they did the remake of that game for the DS that was only in Japan, they completely like committed to Nils as a handsome devil, and they gave him like the most handsome devil model that they possibly could, and I'm like, you know what? I'm here for this one. Yes, to answer chat, Final Fantasy Legend 2, that is the one with the mutants and the meat. Though I think all 3 games for the Game Boy have mutants and meat in them.
You know, if I ever make a tabletop version,
there you go. Just call it mutants and meat.
I think we have our name.
Yeah, it's mutants and meat. Alright. We're slightly adjusting this, Fang. That's fine. You have to always remember when you're working with sketches. Sketches are your just sort of general guidelines. If stuff looks better moved around, just move it around. I'm going to be like redoing Dusa's tongue here to be a bit more snaky. I'm also going to go over here, rework her mouth just a smidge. Make this curve a little nicer. But yeah, I'm always in big support of queer characters in gaming. Like, he knows I did an entire game about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very small, but if you're ever...
It was good.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that the people who played it liked it. If you are listening and you like the idea of soft sci-fi slice of life interactive fiction, you can look up my game on itch.io. It's under my name, SchalaKitty, and the game is called Diagnostics. It's cute. I like to think it's cute.
I think it's cute.
Yay!
I think Chat is cute.
Chat is very cute. Chat is cute. Chat deserves cute games. I say as Crisis Core music comes on. Which I might have opinions about.
Opinions on Crisis Core?
Opinions?
Well, I never.
I know! It's not like I've been telling people to play Crisis Core since 2008 or anything. And now when I say that, I can now direct people that there's going to be a remaster, which I still have slightly, what's the best term? I'm not going to say conflicted feelings. I'm trying to be optimistic about it, but I'm playing wait and see a bit with it. But I definitely like what I've seen as far as changes to the gameplay. I'm just still not 100% sold on the models, and I have extremely complicated feelings about Final Fantasy VII Remake and Crisis Core Reunion and its recasting. But that's beside the point. Worst comes to worst, I just played in Japanese. Like I did back in 2007, only half understanding the game, but that was back in my day. We had to wait 6 months for games to get localized, and I didn't want to wait. So I imported it. So I own 2 copies of Crisis Core for the PSP.
Let's go.
I do have what I consider to be my sort of... I was not able to get the limited edition Crisis Core PSP, unfortunately, because that was extremely limited and very expensive, and I could not afford it. However, I do have my PSP case was the Crisis Core PSP case that only got given out at the Tokyo Game Show. If you played the demo, I was able to snag it off Yahoo Japan auctions way back in the day. But anyway, well, I mean, I'm definitely going to buy it, the Crisis Core Reunion, so I will then have 3 copies of Crisis Core. Still don't know if I'm going to get PC and stream it. I'll have to figure that out. I did try to at least mess around with the speedrun. I actually don't know where you can get replacement PSP batteries, Jason. That is an actual question that I do not have an answer to. I have not looked into it. I have not looked at my PSP. I don't want to look at my PSP because I'm very afraid of what's happened to it. What might have happened to it. And also I'd have to go find it. I know it's around somewhere. But,
Sure, it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
It's fine. But, anyway... yeah, the speedrun for Crisis Core is very interesting. I'm going to be curious to see if Crisis Core Reunion, if they basically keep, like, if this, like, what, like, that speedrun's going to look like. If they're going to have, cutscene skip. Because basically, if you add cutscene skip, it would basically make that, it would make that game, like, much more viable for speedrunning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see what's going to happen, but that was interesting. My dear friend Muppets in Space, for a little while, was doing, this sort of, I guess it's like, it wasn't quite a podcast, it was a video kind of thing, where basically he'd have people come on, his show, and you basically would kind of have to do a podcast while you were playing a game. So he would ask you all sorts of questions, but you still had to keep playing the game the entire time.
Amazing. I love it.
It was a lot of fun, but I decided to play Crisis Core and to play it with the speedrun notes. Which, but for for having never played it with the speedrun notes, I got pretty far in the time allotted. So I got up to the Mako Reactor 5, which I know is a little bit different in Crisis Core than it is in other games, but I got pretty far basically. So I was proud of myself. I got up to the FMV that everyone knows. Which, from what I could see, I don't think they actually redid the FMVs. For
Oh
reunion.
dear.
No! I'm totally cool with that! But it is like this sort of interesting thing of... There's like 2 different models basically now because of that. So there's like the FMV models, which are from 2007, and then the sort of redone models. And it's like, oh, there's like a whole bunch of stuff going on right now with this game, ain't there?
Oh no.
It's one of those things. I also have complicated feelings because Hajime Tabata's not working on it, because Hajime Tabata left Square Enix, but... Oh yay! We have an emote spot ready for Dusa. Yes, I should have said that at the beginning. This emote is going to be gifted to the Lady Arcaders. So, because of all of your wonderful hype and generosity, you will be able to have this as, I guess, what is the... I don't remember what the... Lady R. So this will be our Lady R lurk.
Well, I am super proud of everyone for unlocking that new emote slot for us. That will be super, super cool. I also want to remind everyone that there is a wonderful place that you can use our exciting new hype emote, and that is in Attract mode. Lady Arcaders runs these small events called Attract mode throughout the year, and they're usually on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern and occasionally Sunday afternoons. And these showcases can be anything. So it could be an art showcase, it could be a speedrun, it could be you showing off your Animal Crossing town, or composing some music, or doing baking, or anything that is a showcase that you can share with the world. So you can visit ladyarcaders.com for more details. And again, excuse me, ladies in chat, we would love to have you on Attract mode. I've been on it. I was on it a couple weeks ago, and it was such a fun experience. So definitely encourage everyone to check it out and participate.
Yep, that's how I found out about Lady Arcaders. Asuka, who's in the Free Enterprise community, showed off Free Enterprise. And that's how, I kind of found out, and it was a lot of fun. Even for that one, I was just sort of helping out with doing what we call admin magic on the sprite on the seeds to basically lock in specific sprites and songs. But I was like, y'all seem pretty super cool. So I was happy to come back and participate myself for the Super Showcase. Alright. Oh, let's see. Okay, I do have everything selected. So, one of the fun things in Inkscape we sort of mentioned is duplication. So what we're going to do is we have this nice eye. We're going to duplicate it, whoop, flip it around, and use it as our base for eye number 2. So this is fun for if you're someone who struggles to draw the other eye. It's fine. You can just duplicate it.
Double eye.
Double eye. I'm sort of mainly focusing on getting the... kind of pull that pupil back just a smidge. Also, we sort of talked about the layers panel we have earlier. We can just go boop. No, I think that's fine the way it was. So we can kind of see where our lines are at without... Probably gonna make these actually a little thicker. There we go. That's a little better. So let's go ahead, turn our sketch layer back on. So we still got a few more parts for the lines. Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. The last song was Kirby by Jazz, and we're back now to the Live Alive soundtrack. Cause I love it. Live Alive already had an amazing soundtrack. This is from the remake version. One of the best things here. Well, I'll do my 2-second please play Live Alive spiel. Please play Live Alive. Do you like how? Like, are you cool for me just to pitch this to you? I know you don't need to be pitched to, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I know the pitch. Yeah. I want to hear the pitch again. You need to pitch everyone else here.
I need to pitch everyone else. Do you like RPGs?
No.
Like, you don't lie to me. It's like, do you like RPGs? Do you like tactical RPGs? Do you like a whole wide variety of genres?
Whoa. Hang on just a moment.
Okay.
Did you say Live Alive is a tactical RPG?
Yes!
Oh my god, that is my favorite game genre of all time. I am buying this game, and it's going to be amazing. Thank you for introducing me.
Have this. I'll pitch it. I'll pitch it to Happy Bear then. All right, Happy Bear. Would you like a game? I kind of have this going on right now. Would you like a slapstick caveman rom-com?
Yeah, I think I could get behind that. You know, I'm open to new things.
Do you want a game where you get to basically be a kung fu master in like a kung fu movie?
Hell yeah, who wouldn't?
Do you want a ninja Metroidvania?
I do.
Do you want a cowboy puzzle?
Hell yeah.
Do you want Street Fighter, but it's an RPG?
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I've always wanted to get into Street Fighter.
Do you want you are going to defeat a evil government conspiracy with the literal power of anime and robot gods?
Shut up and take my money.
And do you want a sci-fi thriller?
I love sci-fi and I love thrillers, so a sci-fi thriller, sign me up.
Yeah, that is basically Live Alive.
My goodness, how do they unify all of these disparate genres together?
That is, you figure that out at the end of the game.
It's a spoiler. Okay,
it's
perfect.
A spoiler.
Alright.
There is a unification that you find out at the end of the game, but you sort of start out by going through all the different chapters, and you can play them in any order that you like. I usually recommend that you start with the caveman chapter, just because it has a nice sort of like flow into some of the other ones. But generally, caveman or kung fu is basically the best place to start, because those are the two that are the most sort of traditional. And yeah, and then you play through your chapters of all of your all of your different characters, And then when you have completed those chapters, you then get to find out what is really going on in the world of Live Alive, which I will not spoil because it is absolutely worth it to be surprised.
Wonderful. Well, you have successfully pitched me on this game. I am going to add it to my to-buy list. Does it have a physical release, or is it just electronic?
Yes, it has both physical and electronic release. I will tell you straight up, just go straight to the remake. Live Alive was originally released in 1994, only on the Super Famicom. It did receive a fan translation, which is very good. I will not at all knock the fan translation. Also, I'm going to scoot off of this version of Aerith's theme because the lyrics are making it a little hard for me to concentrate. But anyway, it is super good. The remake is done in 2D HD. So if you've played games like Octopath Traveler, that's sort of like the same sort of style. Also, I'm on the wrong layer for this, but that's okay. Hey, do you dislike it when you're doing something in a drawing program and you realize that you're on the wrong layer? That problem doesn't exist in Inkscape. So I was sort of saying, oh, hey, I'm on the wrong layer for what I'm drawing. What I'm going to do, we're going to go over here to the layer menu. This is supposed to be on the curtain line layer. I'm just going to move it. And now, I'm going to lock this layer, unlock this one. Hey, it's on the right layer now. It's where it was supposed to be. That's the beauty of vectors. You could just move it. It's fine.
If I were a layer, I would simply just move.
Yeah, I was just move. Anyway, thank you for listening. Also, other amazing thing about Live Alive, you could definitely have been hearing some of the soundtrack. The soundtrack is by the absolutely amazing Yoko Shimomura. It's actually one of her earlier soundtracks. It is amazing, and I don't know. Do I drop the absolute banger of a boss theme that it has? I think it is one of the. I think. Chat, do you want to hear one of the best boss themes of all time?
I think that if they want to hear one of the best boss themes of all time, well, no reason not to
donate,
earn it.
Yeah, you got to earn it. If you would like to hear the boss theme of Live Alive, which again is I consider one of the best boss themes ever, donate, and then maybe I'll play it.
Now you're thinking.
It is not Megalovania. I will give you the name. It is Megalomania. This song inspired Megalovania, and is absolutely worth listening to.
And you don't even need to have a bad time.
You can have a great time, but again, I'm going to keep that locked until someone donates for it. We're in the middle of the current song is a 25-minute medley of Final Fantasy music, so I think I can let that run for a little while. Yeah. As I work on this curtain. And then we'll see if we can do some could someone please just let me know what the time is? For the timer?
I see 50 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. Cool. So I have like 40 minutes. Great. That should be enough for us to do flat color.
I would like to share a quick message with everybody. So just as a reminder, we are raising money for Rethink Breast Cancer. And Rethink Breast Cancer is a charity known for making positive change and rethinking the status quo when it comes to breast cancer. Rethink educates, empowers, and advocates for system changes to improve the experience and outcomes of those with breast cancer, focusing on historically underserved groups, people diagnosed at a younger age, those with metastatic breast cancer, and people systematically marginalized due to race, income, or other factors. They uplift, inspire, and most importantly, rethink breast cancer to help people live better and live longer.
It is a absolutely wonderful charity. I'm so happy that we have the chance to support them.
Yeah, I am too. This is, a disease which just affects so many people and can be devastating for people who are diagnosed and their families. So I also am just really, really pleased that we are helping out such a deserving organization as Rethink Breast Cancer.
Yeah. Alright, I think... Let me sort of go ahead and turn off our sketch layer. Alright. Let me sort of save where we're at. So let's start doing some line cleanup and all that kind of good stuff. What I am going to do, I can see I can clean up these feathers here. Oh, I have to turn, I'll be able to access those lines again. Whoop, unlock. Also, chat, remember, if you would like to hear an absolute banger of a song, there's lots of things that you can donate. You know, I know, right, you've already pushed us so far past that goal, but we still have a whole day. We still want to get to that 2,500, so you want to donate for some music, or if you want to donate, again, you can donate and I will just give you facts. You've listened to my pitch on why Live Alive is good. But if you want to also get facts, if you donate $7, I'll give you both the song and I'll give you a fact. That's double value.
Facts. Skull is good.
Fact. Leggy is also a good.
What? Wow.
Yeah! Don't think you can just come in here and bully me without me returning the bullying volley.
Well, frick.
Dun dun dun.
Facts. Both of you are amazing performers that we are lucky to have on our show. Get wrecked, people. I'm gonna bully you all day.
Oh no! I've been so bullied.
Not owned. I'm not owned.
Alright. There we go. I'm gonna actually pull this feather in a little closer. There we go. Alright, so let's now start cleaning up. So basically to make this line nice and straight, I kind of ran it along underneath, but now we're going to go through and start doing some cleaning. So basically what I'm doing is I'm creating nodes. Nodes are kind of like the main ways that we control vectors. And there's like a few different kinds, the two big ones being corner nodes and actually what's the official term for them? Alright, corner or smooth. So these are corner nodes, which means that, as you can see, you pull on them, doesn't affect the rest of the line behind them. Over here we have some smooth nodes. So as you can see, makes it all wibbly wobbly when I move it. But one of the fun things in Inkscape is you can just make two nodes and just go over here to delete segment. Boop. And it's a fun little way to kind of easily do some line erasing.
Thanks.
Alright. So, it's a little bit harder, I'm going to save before I do this, for all of our beautiful fancy lines here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this object to path, because now it's considered to be an object after you apply the taper stroke to it. We're just going to, hello, swap. For some reason it always likes to try and create a stroke around it. I don't know why it does that, it just does. But that's fine. Create ourselves some nodes. Boop. There we go. Nice and tidied up now. So those lines are tidied up. So basically all we gotta just do is these lines down here for the mouth. Have it sort of slide underneath the teeth. And we're not super worried about what's happening over here. That's all gonna get covered up. So we're not really worried about it. Oh no, a friendship bomb!
Ha 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 ha! You're next! Mwahaha! We will all become friends.
Friendship.
World friendship!
Exactly. Ha 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 ha! This stream is now hijacked by me with the power of friendship.
Is there
Anyway.
like legit? Are there any stories where like the villains win with the power of friendship?
Boy, that's a really good question. If there's not, then somebody needs to write that.
Someone kind of does. I mean,
Then what's the heroic power opposing the friendship?
yeah, that's a good. Oh, whoops! The lines are gonna look weird for a minute. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We're going to fix that.
Probably the power of being a gigantic jerk.
Yeah, that's an
And-
interesting thing. If the villains operate on the power of friendship, what power do the heroes operate off of? This is good. Like, are we the baddies? Sort of. Oops, did not mean to do that. I was trying to just select these two nodes. I'm just going to do this very cautiously. Yeah, sometimes when you're doing all that line cutting, sometimes Inkscape gets a little confused. It's fine. We got there. Alright, so what we're going to do... I'm going to turn on our color ref layer. So these are just a bunch of colors that I kind of found, picked out from different like screenshots and everything from Hades. They're just reference. We're probably going to tune these up to be brighter, but I figured this would be like a good starting point. So we're going to turn on our curtain color layer. Boop. And now I've been working in mouse for a little while. So we're still working in mouse right now.
Squeak.
Squeak. No. Come on, we learned this during Space Channel 5. It's chew. Okay. So now we're working with just fills, and then hey, I have this. That was my save button. There you go. Dropper. Whoop. All right. Yes, left, chew. Yeah, but I'm gonna make this a brighter color. Because remember, this is going to be emote. We want our colors to be nice and bright. So we're going to go over here to the fill. Let's make this a little bit brighter and a little bit more saturated. There we go. Also, as we're continuing on with the art showcase, please feel free to donate if you want facts, if you want banger music. I have both, and I would love to share them with you, but you gotta do a little something for charity first.
Now, Schala, what if
Yes.
somebody wants to donate for banger music from Bugsnax?
I unfortunately do not have any music from Bugsnax. I apologize.
Oh no. I'm just gonna have to detonate another friendship bomb.
No!
I'm leaning hard into my villain arc. You all will be friends because we could not have banger music. Actually, I think Bugsnax is a really weird game, so I don't actually mind.
I am like there's part of me that wants to be like I'm picky about my music, and then I'm like, Schala, no, you have music from an Idol series that's literally about train stations. You have no high ground in this conversation.
Well, you always need the high ground,
I
as
mean-
we learned from Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes. There we go. I know I said I was basically going to be doing flat colors, but it's a curtain. I can come in and do some shading on it. You basically have to get used to cell shading if you're going to be working in vectors. You can sort of replicate some stuff in that you would see in oops, clicked off the window in like raster art, but you basically just I basically just embrace cell shading. I'm going to kind of do to make this slightly more visually interesting, as we're going to have a little bit like this. Alright, and then boop. See how... I like this more. And then we're going to just make a duplicate here. Boop, duplicate.
I would just like to remind everyone that this is our very first Lady Arcader Super Showcase ever, and we are super, super pumped that we have had such an amazing show of support. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in and supporting us this weekend. Now, if you would like, we do have some merchandise. You can type !merch into the chat for a link to our shop, or you can visit ladyarcaders.com/shop. And $5 from every Super Showcase t-shirt will be donated towards Rethink Breast Cancer. So if you would like to support in another way, go ahead and buy one of those cool t-shirts. And we have some pretty cool colors, including pink and orange and just an entire rainbow of colors.
Yay, rainbows!
Rainbow, woohoo! So yeah, please go check those out if you would like to.
They're extremely big on rainbows here. Alright. So the things are just like, Schala, why are you caring so much about these curtains? Shh, just let me care about curtains for like 2 seconds. There you go. But now the curtains are all done. I don't have to worry about them. I am going to tidy up this line up here. I know it's technically outside the bounds of my canvas, but there we go. But there you go. You can kind of see how you do shading. Alright, so we're all done with the curtains. We're all done. Oh, while I was doing that, I need to sneak in with this line. Hello? Oh,
Hello?
hello? There we go.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Mr. President?
And perish.
No! Alright, what's the time once more?
Let's see, at about 1:05.
Okay, fantastic. Alright. Let us go ahead and see if we can at least get Dusa's flat colors. So, lines. We don't care about lines anymore. Well, we do. They're just going to be locked. We do care about color. Yeah, I unlocked it. Why? Excuse you? Inkscape. Oh, it would help if I also made it visible. There we go. I do appreciate that Inkscape, like, if there's a problem, it just won't do stuff until you figure out what's the problem. It won't usually tell you what the problem is, but usually you can figure it out. Yes, the curl of the mouth. Like I sort of said earlier on in this showcase, this is very much inspired by the official Dusa plushie, which you've not seen is very, very cute. And they did a really good job with doing the little mouth curl. So, now that we're doing color, we're like slightly less worried about about making our lines. They don't have because the thing is that they're all covered up. So really, we just care about making sure that the areas are completely colored. Oh, I'm glad that the Lady Arcader hoodies are good. I have opinions about hoodies. For someone who is like not very fashionable at all, I have opinions about stuff like hoodies and t-shirts because I used to do what's the right term for it? Like apparel decorating. One of the fun things you could do with vectors is you can then take this information and you can hook it into desktop cutters. And you can do cool stuff like cut vinyl and then decorate like shirts and hoodies with it.
Nice.
Yeah, I have some really fun ones that I did. Alright, we'll also do her base hair color. I am just sort of double checking some things. I have this one line that's ever so slightly out of place, so I'm just going to fix it while I'm thinking about it. This one too. These are things that won't actually show up in the emote, but I will get mad if they're not fixed.
I get that one.
Alright. So let's see. Okay, that's more of the hair, so we can just stay on this color. Oh, that's right. The snake is the same color too. Hold up. No. Flip it around and reverse it. We don't need this. We're going to start that line completely over. There we go. I will say, in addition to facts, you also can, I guess, donate for hot takes. I don't really think I have hot takes, though. I just think everyone else's takes are cold by comparison.
I think that's the definition of a hot take, Schala.
The ways of coloring. So basically, kind of going back for folks who might have missed this, we're working in Inkscape, which is a vector art program. So the way I do colors is the color is actually a shape. So if I go here, whoop, you can see the raw shape. So that's actually what the color is. And then we'll kind of go back, and then you basically just layer shapes on top of each other to make the colors.
Shapes on shapes on shapes on shapes on shapes.
Do I say ow when video game characters get hurt? Yes. I think more video game characters should say ow when they get hurt. Lets you know that they too are experiencing an emotion, albeit simulated.
So I don't, excuse me, I don't do that.
Okay.
But whenever my video game character falls off a tall building, I actually get like the roller coaster swoop in my stomach. If my character is falling a long distance, it's very silly. I don't know why, but that's just my reaction.
I will say ow for them. Doubly so if they are a silent protagonist. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Look at that mess. We don't like this mess. We're fixing that mess. There, it is now fixed. I am very particular. Especially when I'm doing lines, I don't like a lot of nodes. Because the less nodes you use, the smoother the line will be. But when it comes to color, I'll use a whole bunch of nodes, but I'm also like, I want them to at least be somewhat recognizable and functional. Alright, we have one other little hair tie for her. Down here. Also, I like how you can tell this is Final Fantasy music because the choir kicked in. Alright, and now I have to actually go back to monitoring this and making sure that we don't get megalomania without people paying. Is this off? Yeah! It's one of my many, many, many versions of Matoya's Cave.
Let's go.
I basically, collect versions of this song. There's a couple of songs like that where I collect versions of them. Matoya's Cave is definitely one where I collect a whole bunch.
I love Matoya's Cave. It is such a cool melody. I dig it.
As a known Final Fantasy I enthusiast, I have to agree.
It's so good. Sometimes
You're so good.
You're so good. Alright.
No, you.
No, you. Oh. I will be adding freckles. Basically, I basically tend to draw like I'm not drawing an emote, if that kind of makes sense. So I like adding like the little freckles and everything. I guess I should show off some other emotes I've done. I did have that squared away. Give me 1 second.
You had that squared away,
Yes.
as in Square Enix?
Yes.
I see what you did there.
Yes. So we kind of mentioned free enterprise. Let me kind of make this a little bigger before I drag it over. I did do all the emotes for the free enterprise channel. So, there you go. If you want to see like what a whole collection of emotes looks like. As you can see, I add stars and sparkles to absolutely everything I can.
That is extremely sparkly, and honestly, I'm here for it.
If you're not making stuff like sparkly, what are you even doing? Like, seriously.
Being a coward, mostly.
Yeah, exactly. But, there you go. You can see my... Well, we're sort of in the middle of a small break here. You can see some of the other things I've done for Free Enterprise. I did all the graphics for our latest tournament. So if you want to see what Inkscape can really, really do... Now, to be fair, this is Inkscape and then Photoshop afterwards. So this is our one of our splash screens. Digital stained glass is my absolute favorite aesthetic.
Wow.
So that was one. And then we have its companion piece. We have the villain of FF4, Golbez, for our other companion piece. Oh good, I have some FF4 music going. Nice. And it's even seasonal! Yes, it's the Halloween version of Mysidia theme. And then if you want, like, a more abstract piece, there we go. So, there you go, some fun... so, like I said, this is all vector first, and then all the different stained glass layers are done afterwards in Photoshop. So, I basically always do my lines in Inkscape. It's just the thing that I'm just the most comfy with. I like the fact that I can fiddle with the lines forever. Alright, so we got our... So to do all the stained glass effects, there's a absolutely wonderful, like, Photoshop. They kind of do, like, for a whole bunch of different programs, but there's a company called, I believe it's Artifacts Forge, and, they make all sorts of different texture packs, and, that was using their stained glass texture pack, which does come with, settings to sort of do, inner glows to kind of replicate the look of light behind your glass.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you can kind of simulate it. we go. Wait, is that? Yeah, that's the right shade of red. Dusa has several shades of red, so... And again, I might tweak these slightly. Like I said, one of the big things, like I said, is like, these are references. We don't necessarily have to stick to them. But there you go for her medallion. We'll see if we can at least get her flat colored. So we'll kind of have an idea of what the final product is going to look like. And then I'll obviously go through, finish it off. But that'll be later. The goal for this was basically how far can we get in making Emote in the time allotted. Sometimes I've actually been able to finish a whole Emote in an hour and a half. Dusa is a little bit more complicated, but that's fine. Going to, if we actually go up here, see here, there's this lovely little layer control. What we're going to do is we're going to drop the layer to the bottom, and then go layer up, up, up. Oh, that's layer down. Layer up. There we go. Also, I got a little slightly jump scared by this song, because this song for a while was one of my morning alarms. And like...
Oh no.
It's okay. This is also a fantastic song. This is a chiptune version of Chrono Trigger music by... this is one band. They do a lot of stuff for different Square Enix, what's the term I'm looking for? Like different Square Enix official remix albums. And their name is Sexy Synthesizer. And all their stuff is great, if you like chiptune music. Yeah, it has to be high energy alarms, because otherwise I won't wake up. Alright. I know I've been seeing if I could get chat to donate for Live Alive's absolute banger of a boss music, but I will play for you my current alarm. I have to find it though, so give me one moment. Alright. So, I'll preface this by saying, my absolute favorite, probably one of my favorite characters, just like bar none, is Sephiroth. And my alarm in the morning represents that, but not in the way you're probably thinking. So please enjoy the absolute most interesting version of Birth of a God ever. If I didn't tell you it was Birth of a God, you probably would have never have figured it out. Because of where it takes this song. There we go. It's so jammy, though. Wait, we're not doing shading right now. Alright, I'm gonna do our feather duster. Oh yeah, Happy Bear, I see that you also are a fan of Braste Bravo, aka Bra Bra Final Fantasy. As one should be. There we go. Leggy, if you could be fantastic, just give me a warning when we get to like 5 minutes.
Yep, you've got 9 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I've got my eye on it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
I was expecting you to go into like to like the longest yeah boy ever.
Yeah, boy. I wish I was that powerful.
You are powerful, though.
Yes, but I'm not that powerful.
This is true.
I am powerful in many other
Yes.
and wonderful ways.
This is true. So I'll give Chow, because I know we have processing time. Again, if you would like me to play us out on literally one of the bangers to end all bangers, get a donation in. And just ask for Megalomania. I mean, I'll probably play it anyway, as long as we get a donation. But I can't say anything because y'all put so much money towards this showcase, and Scala.exe kind of crashed last night because of it. But that's okay. I am always blown away by how much absolutely wonderful generosity charity events bring out. That's why I love doing them.
So here's my hot take.
Hot take!
If we don't get enough donations for Megalomania, we should just play Megalovania instead.
I can make that happen, but I would like to play Megalomania.
Oh no, I'm trying to incentivize people so that they hear the better song.
Ooh! Oh, that's the throwdown. That's the hot take. Okay.
That is a scorching hot take right there.
I mean,
Yeah. Donate. Tell me I'm wrong. You won't.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know how many of the good people have heard Megalomania. So, if you've never heard it, I think you really need to give us a little bit of a donation so that way you can, and then you can make a proper judgment yourself. That's a hard one. If I have to pick Megalomania or versus Megalovania, that's a really, really hard pick. Can I cheat and can I say the anniversary concert version that mashes them up?
You know, that is a powerful pick.
Which is a real thing. Which by the way, I found out about because it got like people were Tony Fox mentioned it that when that it happened while he was in attendance at the Live Alive anniversary concert that they played the mashup version, which he was not at all expecting. He said it was basically the most surreal moment of his life.
Which, you know, do you know how surreal
yes, this is
your
true.
life has to be?
So what we're going to do real quick, I turned the reference layer back on. We're going to go over here to Dusa's skin color. Let's see if I can... Excuse you. Oh, because I'm in the layer menu. Let me get off the layer menu. There we go. Dusa's skin tone. What we're going to do is we're just going to go over here. We're going to make this like just 20. There we go. Now we can see all her cute freckles. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do one... Oh, did not mean for bees. No, I didn't want the curves. I'm just going to do this with a mouse. It's fine. We're going to join. Nope, that didn't work. Here, actually, I'm going to do this as a circle. Circle tool is here. Circle tool is my friend. And now we're going to get, I believe it's usually this color for her freckles. We're going to have fun with, boop, spray tool. Let's see how well this works. Oh, we have to... Yes, I would always have to remember spray tool, how to do it right. There it goes. Pfft. It's more than we need. Oh, actually, here, let me actually go back. I would like... Let's see. Scatter... Scale. Let's do more like a 50% variation.
Oh.
Wow. What is it, Leggy?
Oh, that is actually way cooler than I expected it to be.
Yep. So we sort of took our original shape and made a whole bunch of copies of it, but it sort of played around with the scale of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, is good for snakes.
True.
I'm gonna probably just delete some, but... There we go. And then I just had to kind of move them around. Not necessarily going to put one on her nose. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to give some of them just some random rotations. We're just doing our best to create just a little bit of variety. Freckle cannon! Yes! There we go. Yeah, there's all sorts of cool tools. Like, actually here, I can sort of show this. So, for my little reference thing over here, see I have all these really nice, neat boxes?
Mm.
Let's go over to unlock the ref layer. They're all linked to this main box here. And if I go here, say I wanted more, boop, now there are more. Now there are less. If I want to make them have funky scales, I have to add, boop. Make them scale interestingly. Make them be slightly more offset. If I had other shapes, you could also rotate them, like that. Woo!
Nice.
Yeah, that's the cool tiling tool. Sorry for the little technical hiccup. All right, I know we're just about done. Playing around path, yes, it can make Inkscape a little unhappy. Might make it crash, but save frequently in Inkscape. Make sure that you set up auto saves. There you go. That's my biggest suggestion for anyone who would like to get into Inkscape. Please set up your auto saves. Please do that. Oh, am I on the wrong layer? Remember, there is no wrong layer. Just move this one to just layer above. Boop. Lock that one again. But have any of the lovely folks tried to get in on my insistence that you should hear Megalomania?
You know, people are a little bit nervous about Megalomania. Apparently, Mega Mania. How intense is that?
It's so intense.
Yeah.
What happened?
So I might have to, break a few arms. I'm pretty intimidating. I am a bear after all.
You are indeed a bear.
That is very true. And don't look at any of my stream VODs. Excuse me. Don't look at any of my stream VODs. You confirm that. I am definitely a bear.
You're definitely
so
a bear.
You better watch it.
I'm just gonna, you know what? This is not working with me, so you know what we're just gonna redo it. It's only because I want to share music with y'all, chat, but we decided that we would make you have to at least give just a little bit for it.
There are no free lunches in this stream.
I mean, I might let it go since y'all did put so much money towards Dusa, but we'll see. We'll see where we at with the time.
We are at 1:30 exactly.
Exactly. Well, all right. I know we're supposed to kind of get ourselves moving, get ourselves going. So we'll sort of give me 1 second just to sort of this sort of section had. I'm not gonna save this. I'm gonna redo that completely later on, but that's for later, Schala. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at what we did. Turn off the ref, turn off the sketch. So, after an hour and a half, we have Dusa flat colored with the curtain. I think she's looking very cute.
Dusa is definitely looking cute. Chat, thank you so much for donating so that we could see this adorable presentation of Dusa. This has been really cool, Schala.
One last thing before we go. I do think you all do deserve to see what the other emote was going to be. So I will show you the sketch anyway. There you go. So that was going to be our Ulala info. But I like the fact that we got Dusa. So she will be finished up off stream. Hopefully within like the next week or so. I'm busy, but I'll definitely get it to y'all, and then y'all can have a beautiful new emote here for the Lady Arcaders. Thank you all so much for having me on for the art showcase. I do occasionally. Sometimes I'm hoping to get back into streaming because I think that would be really nice. But you can definitely find me on Twitter at SchalaKitty. And yeah, just thank you all so much. And I hope you all have a absolutely lovely rest of the marathon. And thank you, of course, to leggystarscream for being just a cool friendo hanging out with me and coming up with hot takes.
Well, look, I've been known to have the spicy takes.
The spicy takes. Well, thank you as well as to Happy Bear for being our lovely host.
Thanks, Schala. I really appreciate that. That's so kind of you.
And thank you to Pippi for doing all the work in the back as the tech. I know she probably can't talk right now, but thank you to Pippi. And I know what next up is The Sims, yes?
Next up is The Sims, and we are super excited for that.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. I hope you all have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of the marathon.
Bye.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Lady Arcader's Super Showcase 2022. That was a wonderful showcase that we just saw from SchalaKitty and her amazing commentator, leggystarscream. Both of them are super fun, super talented, and it was a joy to get to experience that. Next up, we have The Sims Rags to Riches, speedrun by Tana Banana with her lovely commentator, Abby News. And before we get into that, though, I just want to remind you that we are raising money for Rethink Breast Cancer right now. And Rethink Breast Cancer's mission is to empower young people worldwide who are concerned about and affected by breast cancer by taking a breakthrough approach to education, advocacy, support, community building, and fundraising initiatives. And we are at $2,200 raised for Rethink Breast Cancer. We have done so much good so far, and chat, I believe that we can get to our $2,500 goal by the end of today, but we can only do it with your help. I have faith in you. All right, we are going to take a quick break before we jump to our next amazing showcase with The Sims, and we'll see you in a few minutes.